All right, folks, what is going on? How are you silly bitches doing? Everybody, it's just me tonight. That's it. You got Boxman and me only. That's right, Boxman and Boxman only. Sorry, folks. Smark is out of town this week. He hit me up last night. He let me know what was going on. So no big deal. I kind of prepared for being a little alone today. So we should have some good stuff going on. We do have a couple of things to get into, obviously. And I will definitely be going over AEW Dynamite a little bit also. So we've got that going. Not quite sure why the camera's a little dark tonight, but no big deal. Not that worried about it, to be honest with you. Y'all don't need to see me in bright, bright lights anyway. This is probably perfect. I wouldn't worry about it. So, yeah, like I said, we've got a few things to get into. Unfortunately, we've got one death to get into. We'll talk about that. And Jerry Lawler being hospitalized. And we've got a few other things to get into. But like I said, I am Boxman. This is Wrestling Outlet. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. Literally about 20 seconds after AEW went off the air, there was a nice internet outage at my house. So I had no internet. My son came running in. What the hell happened, Dad? I don't know, man. The internet must have gone out. Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. That's usually what happens. The fucking internet goes out. So I'm going to lower myself down a little bit. I see I'm bumping up in that red just a little bit more than I want to. Keep myself right about there. This should be good. It might be a little low even, but I'd rather it be there than going a little crazy on y'all. Sounding like I'm booming through the fucking mic. So anyway, got a few things to get into. If it ends up being a short show, I do have something we can talk about that is, of course, right up our alley. So I will maybe talk about that. We'll see what happens tonight. Y'all know when I end up doing these shows, it just doesn't end up being that long. I talk very fast. I guess I don't get into enough. I don't know. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm still I'm still trying to get comfortable being on camera. To be honest with you, I know I'm awkward. I'm a little weird, but I am who I am. So whatever. What I did find though is I did say last week, I know every time I switch screens, like the bright light like hits you from the white of the screen. Well, I found a way to make all of that dark. So you might see a few lights here and there off of some white lights, but it should be a lot better. You shouldn't get that big glare off my glasses anymore. Pretty much everything is on dark screen now, so we're good on that front, which is a good thing. Um, anyway, let's give me one sec. I just want to do something real fast, if you guys don't mind, and then we'll I guess we'll start off. Unfortunately, we'll start off talking about a little bit of Lanny Poffo and basically his passing at 68 years old. Which I'm sorry, folks. I got a real feeling that's too young for anybody. That's too young. That's definitely too young to go. And it's just it's crazy, man. Noe, my man. I see you are here. My man, first of all, good luck. Secondly, you call me, you need anything, my brother. I mean fucking anything. All right, my man. Um and cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you. Good luck in all your good luck in all your future endeavors, as they say in the wrestling business, sir. Y'all wrestling fans don't understand, but Noe, here's to you, my man. Oh, I love that first sip of beer. Goes down so good. All right, anyway, let's go back into this. Um, Last week, actually, it was last Thursday, I believe, right after the show, last Thursday, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, went ahead and said that the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, um, and the son of Angelo Poffo, both Angelo Poffo's sons, um, Lenny Poffo, has passed away at 68 years old. A lot of people were really surprised by this. No one said that he looked like he was in bad shape. No one said that he looked, as like anything at all was wrong with him at all. And next thing you know, you know, we just hear that Lenny Poffo has passed away. Here they are right here, a picture of him and Macho. You can even see Macho Man looking real young in that picture. Randy Poffo, I believe was his name. Father was Angelo. But Lanny, we knew as a few characters. We knew him in the old there you go right there, Leaping Lenny Poffo. This was in the one of the little rival to Memphis promotions. The little, I think it was the IWC. I think I have another picture of him with that in there, but you can see right there. You can see the difference in the pictures right there. But I mean, even right there, the guy looks like he's not in bad shape at all. And I'll even get into just a minute here when Booker T was on his podcast and was talking about how he was just with him a few weeks ago. He actually recorded the what is that? The Treasures show. I'll get into it in a minute. We'll go ahead and take care of that in a minute. But also knew him as the Genius. I mean, he'd be out there reading his poems to everybody. Poems he wrote, by the way. But that was really good. Just the stuff he did. I do remember a lot of the frisbees thrown out into the fucking crowd and all that stuff. I do remember a lot of that stuff. So, was pretty shocking to hear. And like I said, Booker T was like, what the hell? He's like, listen, I was just filming WWE's Most Wanted Treasures on A&E with them. And Booker T went and said he had a tight shirt on and everything, like he'd been working out. He said I was actually complimenting him on, on the tight shirt. He was like, I wear these to keep everything together. And Booker said he seemed perfectly fine. He said we're wrapping up as far as the Macho Man Randy Savage stuff that we were looking for, treasures for Mach. He said, like I said, seemed perfectly fine. And for me to open my phone and just, looking for some stories for the show tonight, and the first thing pops up today, I go, wow, man, just can't seem to catch a break with guys falling. And he's got a point, man. I mean, it seemed, just a couple of weeks ago, we lost, Jay Briscoe, and it is, man. It's sometimes it's tough to be a wrestling fan. I mean, it's just like when we lost Macho. I mean, I remember that was shocking, and a guy just had a heart attack while driving, went off the road. I mean, that was horrible, also. But now these two are together once again. I think pretty much all the Poffos are gone, folks. I don't know if there's any left. But this was really shocking to hear. Like I said, I believe it was last Thursday. So it was a pretty shocking one to hear, and I was just amazed. I'm like, the guy was fucking 68. I mean, most of us know people over the age of 68. Well, some of us know people well over the age of 68. It's just, it doesn't seem that old anymore. I still haven't seen a cause of death go out, so I guess we'll see what happens as time goes on. Or if anybody knows in the chat room what happened, shout it out. Let me know. If I'm wrong, you know me. I don't give a shit. Let me know I'm wrong. But there you go. We've got that right there. And I guess speaking of the passing of some people, this is maybe a little, I wouldn't say it's completely off topic. I would say it's still on topic. Unfortunately, since we're talking about death. But today, speaking of 68 and being too young, today actually would have been the 68th birthday of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Creepy. Well, I mean, not that creepy, but I've said before, I was a huge Neidhart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart fan. I've said before, I thought he was better than Brett. I know. I'm nuts. We've established this over many shows that I'm not fucking sane. But some of you would just say your opinions pretty much suck. Okay, you can say that. I'll roll with it. That's fine too. I understand. I understand. But today, the 8th of February, would have been Jim the Anvil Neidhart's 68th birthday. So happy heavenly birthday, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Man, that it just seems like they're all just kind of going younger and younger, and then luckily we got guys like Inoki out there who are making it to old age, and hopefully we get more of them out there making it to the old age. But like I said, 68 definitely seems a little too young to go. But I guess we can just say, let's just be very happy we didn't lose another one. That being Jerry the King Lawler, folks. We heard on Monday that the King was hospitalized, and it was like, what the hell? I mean, please don't do this. But the next day, actually yesterday on Tuesday, we started hearing some better news. It does. I guess it says he had a stroke, and that he's now recovering in a Fort Myers hospital. And the tweet said his speech is limited, but with rehabilitation, will regain full recovery. He thanks everyone for the continued prayers. And actually, hold on, I've got that tweet right here. Thanks everyone for the continued prayers, and we'll be back in the near future. In addition, photos were attached of Lawler's awake and alert in the hospital room by Jimmy Hart. Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart decided to go ahead and visit him. There you go, right there. Jimmy Hart is not aging, except for he's got a little bit of that. What was Christopher Lloyd's name in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I forget what his name was. He looks like that character with the hair. It's just not gray yet. But Jimmy Hart looks fucking amazing for his age. Absolutely amazing. He looks like he's barely aged. But there he is right there with Jerry Lawler. Lawler looking better. No, there was a picture earlier of him with tubes, all the oxygen tubes and all the tubes going in. No tubes, just basically the IV and the things they keep hooked up to your heart and stuff like that. But those all unplug, no big deal. So definitely a better picture as another one. Jimmy Hart was kind of bringing by memorabilia. You can see if you're on YouTube, you can see that he's holding up the picture of Jimmy and young Jerry Lawler over there also. But looks like Jimmy Hart brought a bunch of kind of memorabilia, was showing him some good stuff, and just kind of, and if you see in this picture, he does have on the oxygen tube and the nose cannula and all that stuff. So he might have just taken it off for the picture. Who knows? But also JR posted an update. He said, I spoke briefly with Jerry Lawler tonight. He's obviously weak, but I could understand his affected speech. Jerry's prognosis is positive, but he needs all our thoughts and prayers. This was actually today when Jim Ross posted this earlier today, about 1:30 p.m. today. So thank God Jerry Lawler is doing better. I mean, listen, the guy lived through a heart attack that not a lot of people would have lived through. Luckily, he was around doctors when that happened. So he did survive that heart attack. I mean, obviously, that was right there on Raw. All of us heard and saw what happened. Michael Cole that night was visibly devastated. Who blames him? But if you remember, though, Michael Cole was in the middle of this epic heel run. If you guys remember, that's exactly what he was doing. He was doing this heel run, and he had to basically drop it after that because the whole crowd saw him really like I said, visibly disturbed and distraught by what was going on. Dude, after what we heard, just the and then he dropped. I think all of us unfortunately thought we were losing Jerry Lawler that night, and he made it through that. Um, I'll tell you all the truth. This guy needs some R&R. I mean, he needs to retire and relax. He really does. They've got. I know he loves working. He loves doing what he does, but I really think it's time he probably back off. Like I said, he needs to retire and relax and just back off. And my God, Lawler, I know you love eating horrible food, but man, you got to back off that bad food, man. I mean, right after the guy's heart attack, they got him down there eating Sonic and drinking fucking Mountain Dew and all kinds of crap. Thank God I mean, Jesus Christ, did he drink some of that fucking pitch black? Did that give him a goddamn fucking stroke? I wouldn't doubt it. Fucking Mountain Dew will give most people a goddamn stroke. Heart palpitation, something. I don't know. Like I said, I can count on one hand how many Mountain Dews I've had in my lifetime. Very, very little. So anyway, I am extremely happy that Jerry Lawler is doing better. And let's just all keep him in your thoughts. Make sure, because, man, I don't know. Right now, I feel like we need to wrap all these wrestlers up in like bubble wrap and some nice foam and just kind of just cherish these guys. That's kind of how I feel. That's really what we need to do at this point. And I see I'm kind of dropping a few frames tonight. Sorry about that, folks. My internet's not great tonight. I'll be honest. Like I said, I lost internet right before the show. I apologize. I do. So anyway, one more thing, a couple more little news stories we're going to get into. Like I said, it's probably going to be a quick show. I dug for as much news as I could get tonight, and this is pretty much where what I'm coming up with. So, all right. So on Raw, there was a great segment that I actually decided to watch it. It was the Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes segment. Really, really good segment. Paul Heyman is worth every penny he gets paid, and probably more. That guy is worth his weight in gold, and he is not a light man, if you see what I'm saying. I think y'all got that one. So, him and Cody are in there. Sorry, folks, I needed that. Him and Cody are in the ring on Raw, and they're talking about how when Dusty was broke, Paul Heyman took him in to ECW, brought him in 2000. And, I mean, his dad was doing car commercials. We've played a couple of these car commercials before on the show, back when we were audio only. We played a couple on this show, so you guys have heard these. You can go on YouTube and find a few of them if you really want to. They're out there. Just, you know what to search. I'm not going to fucking tell you. So he was talking about that, and Heyman started getting a little emotional out there. He's got the, Heyman. Heyman can do about any goddamn thing you want him to, but this seemed like real emotion, like he was kind of flashing back. And he said, listen, he got emotional and said, this isn't about Dusty. This is about Cody. Heyman said, it's not easy, an easy task to defeat the greatest of all time. He went right into it. Heyman went from this emotion to, bitch, I got a job to do, and I'm about to fucking roast your ass because that is my job. So he did. Paul was reminding him that, everyone does that. Dusty trained and, that Dusty trained and prepped Roman, and he started bringing up more people that Dusty had trained. He brought up Bayley and Becky Lynch and all kinds of people that he had trained. And he said, but he never trained you, Cody. I guess that's because he wanted you to do it on his own. But he said, Cody, you were his favorite son. But Roman was the son he always wanted. That caused Cody to lose his fucking mind. Man, Heyman, again, just listen, you can go into the whole, oh, he didn't pay his people, he's a scumbag, he's this, he's that. You know what? It's the wrestling business. It's full of scumbags. It has been. It always will be. It will be from now until the end of time. From then until the end of time, probably. I don't see it changing. Um, Paul Heyman's an old school guy in the wrestling business. He was one of the Carney type guys. He screwed some people over, but Dusty wasn't one of them. Dusty wasn't one of them. I guess he had a list of people he just wouldn't screw over. Taz was another one who said, my checks never bounced. I never had a problem. So Dreamer said his checks bounced a few times. Y'all remember that. But Heyman can just take it. I mean, go from, once again, just sitting there with this. I mean, you could see the emotion right there. And then, bingo. Next thing you know, pow, bam, I got a job to do. And my job is to make you look not bad. Heyman wouldn't make anyone look horrible because they're taking on Roman Reigns, his guy. Heyman's not going to make anyone look bad. He will insult you, but he's not going to make you look like shit. His job, though, was to do that. He pushed what he had to push, as Heyman does well. He pushes the pay-per-view. He puts over the match. He puts over both people in the match, and he sells it. Paul Heyman, an absolute brilliant, brilliant guy when it comes to just doing what he does. Going out there, cutting the best fucking promos, and just doing it, man. Just knocking it the fuck out. Heyman's always been fucking great at that. You know, no one's ever said he was never one of the best on the mic, but pretty bad glare he's got, though, on the top of the head. I will say that. It is a little bit of a glare. I get it. SBC says that Sabu, RVD, and Danny Doring are going to look for some paychecks. Yeah, they're probably still looking for a few. Probably still. Tommy fucking Dreamer. He probably ate the checks. You know, Tommy eats weird shit. So, but anyway, according to old Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, this whole angle was booked because they knew how hot the Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn angle is and has been, and they kind of wanted to put a little bit of, not a damper on it, but they wanted to make this seem like it was more important, which it should seem like that. But at WrestleMania, the important match is coming up very, very, very soon, and that will be the Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. So, yeah, but this match is going to be, the WrestleMania match. So that's that. I don't think anybody's got an issue with that. But they definitely had something here because there was a lot of real history with Dusty and Paul Heyman. If you think back to 2023 years ago, Cody was just a little fella. Cody wasn't that old at that point. So he was probably in his teen years. So meant a lot to him. And then, of course, Paul Heyman did, like I said, did what he does, did his job, and knocked it out of the fucking park. So there we go with that. All right. We got a couple more little kind of things to get into here. Let's go ahead and let me just get this off my plate, if you will. Knock that out of there. And let's get into this real quick. There's a rumored Hall of Fame inductee picture, meme, I don't know what you want to call it, going around right now. Now, WrestleMania is in Hollywood, so don't forget that. But there's a little picture going around of some rumored inductees. I've got the picture right here. First one, of course, is Batista. Now, being in Hollywood, that would be the perfect guy to do this. If they, if The Rock's not wrestling, this would be perfect. I think if The Rock was wrestling, this would kind of not be a good idea. If they get Batista, I think that's a great one right there. In Hollywood, he was supposed to have gone in during the Thunderdome era a couple years ago, but didn't want to do it because he wanted a crowd. He didn't want to go in front of, no one and just talk for 5 minutes. So I don't blame him. I think that would be a great one. I've always been a big fan of Batista. Always have liked him. I thought he was, for a big man, I thought he had some pretty good snap in his moves. Y'all could probably hear my dog barking beside my window. Sorry about that, everybody. The next one that is, again, these are rumors. Let's just no one take this as, guaranteed. These are all just rumored right now. Umaga. Umaga would be another great one, man. With Solo Sikoa kind of paying tribute to him, weekly, doing the Samoan Spike now, would be pretty good. I think to go ahead, this would probably be a really good year to do that, especially with the way the whole Samoan bloodline storyline has been going. I think that could be a really, really great induction. I mean, you've got so many people that could induct him that it would just be really, really good. Let's see here. If you give me a second, we're going to make that a little bigger. I can't. Give me 1 second here, folks. I actually can't read that, and I shouldn't have done that, but I did. Give me 1 second here, folks. I got to get that picture pulled up because I can't read that one picture. Even with my glasses on, I can't read that damn picture. Kayumoto. Sorry, folks. Japanese wrestler, been around a long time. And there's another one that I could definitely see going in. They do this every now and then. They'll put someone like that in. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, this is where it gets a little okay. They always put in a woman. That's exactly Great Muda, who just did his last match, obviously, in Japan. All of us are Muda fans anyway, so it would be great to see him go in. But we got Michelle McCool. Mrs. Taker. Mrs. Taker wants to, sort of, Ben. What's going on, Ben? I got Ben and Noe in here. It's like I'm working. I'm not. So Michelle McCool, Mrs. Taker, is rumored also to go in. I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. They always bring her in. She was just in the Rumble. She had a good showing, as she always does when she is the guest on these Rumbles. So I could see that. I could see her going in. Now, next up, folks, is the Midnight Express. Now, me being a huge fan of the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, some of their greatest feuds were against the Rock and Roll Express. So I would absolutely love for the Midnight Express to go in. I think it would be great. Like I said, some of the first matches I remember watching and being just amazed and blown away by is Rock and Roll Express versus Midnight Express. Excuse me, that storyline went on and on and on and on. My God, folks, I think 5 or 6 years ago, they were still going in the ring and doing this. It's just insanity that how long that this fucking thing has gone on. But I would love to see the Midnight Express go in. Just again, I was a huge fan of their feud with them. They were WCW run they had. It was all good, and I think they'd be a great team. They are very well known, mostly well known for their feud against the fucking Rock and Roll Express. So there you go. Now, this is one me and Smark both, I'm not speaking for Smark, but I know we have discussed this before. Why in the world is Cyndi Lauper not in the WWE Hall of Fame celebrity wing. Why? Why? I think Jim Ross had something against Cyndi Lauper, is what we were kind of what we were told, kind of what he insinuated. He never really had much good to say about Cyndi Lauper. Well, JR's been gone from that company for a while. Now he's over there at AEW. He's doing his own thing. So why not put Cyndi Lauper in? My God, she was a huge influence back in the 80s when it was the whole, rock and wrestling connection with her and Mr. T and Piper and Hogan. And my God, Captain Lou Albano. I mean, Captain Lou Albano was in the video for Girls Just Want to Have Fun, folks. I mean, she has a like solid tie-in to wrestling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. She hasn't been put in yet. I don't give a shit if I'm sorry for the dog barking, folks, but the new puppy, the old grumpy dog is not liking the new young puppy. Nothing I can do. But I'm always kind of just boggles my mind that she's not in yet. Like I said, she has such solid roots in the wrestling business back in the 80s with, like I said, with huge stars, Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, Captain Lou, all those guys. And it's just, I think it's past time to put Cyndi Lauper in. I thought she should have been in years ago. I didn't know JR had that much pull in the Hall of Fame that Cyndi Lauper wouldn't be inducted because he didn't like her. I had no clue. So, all right, Swiggy. So once again, folks, just rumors. So don't take any of that seriously. All right, my wife's trying to split the dogs up so they stop barking. So we'll see how good that works now that she's got both the dogs in the room. She's having to pick one of the dogs up and get her out. Okay. We may hear my old dog snoring, but that's about the worst it'll be. So anyway, hi folks, back to me. But yeah. So again, rumored Hall of Fame inductees for this year. I don't see any of them on there that would be bad. I really don't. I think all of those would actually be very good and be a lot of fun. So a couple stories I know of that are right up the alley of us right here, right down our lane. Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. Y'all know who Mandy Rose is. Mandy Rose recently fired from NXT for starting a fan time site, obviously similar to the OnlyFans site. That's what we got right there. There you go, you lucky YouTube folks. Well, she was on, of course, Renee's podcast called The Sessions, formerly called Oral Sessions. So, excuse me. So Mandy Rose started talking about how she is now rating dick pics because fans send her so many that she figures, what the hell? If they're soliciting these dick pics, she's not only she's showing them and rating them on this fan site. So again, folks, I'm not going to show you the dick pics. Yes, Noe, she is unbelievable. I agree. She is absolutely unbelievable. One day I'll get your email and send you some better stuff. If you know what I mean. But yeah, so Mandy Rose is actually now rating dick pics, and here's what she had to say. She was asked about them by her and Renee were talking about all the dick pics they get in their DMs. I mean, obviously the show, like I said, used to be named Oral Sessions. It obviously has some oral overtones to it. So here's what she said. She said, "Oh, you caught me for a loop on that one. It's a thing. I will say that. It's definitely a thing. It's crazy. I mean, We all get them in the DMs. So you know what? I might as well make the most of it. So she's doing it. She's just said, she might as well make money off of it, which she is. People are paying for her to do these ratings. Folks, this woman made $1 million her first month out of WWE. I don't care how many of those subscribers stick around. And now everyone's like, oh, look, she's giving away a free month. She must be losing money. What the fuck? It's called promotion, folks. How many times do you see a buy one, get one free? You think they're losing money, so they do that? No, no. It's called promotion, folks. It's teasing you to stick around. That's what it's doing. Why everybody thinks she ain't going broke. This woman can't go broke. I promise you, folks. But she leak her premium content to leak. I don't know if she knows it pretty much already has. That's kind of how some of it got out. Unless, as we said, Booker T was unless Booker T decided to just rat her out and somehow he got it. Basically, she said this. She said, so it didn't seem like it was out of my comfort zone. I feel comfortable. I wouldn't do something that made me feel uncomfortable. So she's all right with everything. She said her fiance is all right with everything, but she definitely said she would consider shutting it down if she wanted to go back to WWE. She actually said that on that talk show that she was on. I don't remember the name of it. But Mandy Rose decided, hey, you guys are going to send me dick pics. I'm going to rate the son of a bitches and get paid for it. Fucking brilliant. She's brilliant. There's nothing else I can say about her. She's absolutely fucking brilliant. And as Noe said, damn, she fine. Goddamn right she is. Absolutely she is. So, all right. I'll leave that one up there. Maybe I'll show it a little bit later when the show goes off the air. All right, folks, I got two little Tony Khan stories to get into because we love showing Tony Khan's pick on this show. We always have. Now, we've been hearing rumors, WWE up for sale. We know what's going on. We know Vince is pretty much being sued every week. Folks, I think we've gone almost 7 days without a lawsuit against Vince. Might only be 6. Tomorrow will be 7. Let's see if we can do it. I think we can. Let's give it a shot, folks. Let's give it a shot. I think we can get through the week without having a lawsuit against Vince and his thuggish ways, as people keep bringing up, of getting himself back on the board at least. So anyway, Tony Khan has been rumored to have been a part of this process. Now, he said he'd like to be a part of it. He never said he was a part of it. And he's actually not sure WWE would even allow him to be a part of this process. Now, obviously, he's interested in the sale process. Guy has billions of dollars. Why in the hell would he not be interested? So he is. He's interested in the sale process, but says, here's what he says. He said, I don't know exactly what will happen here. I've been told, and I think they've said publicly, that there may be a sale process, Khan said. If there is a sale process, certainly I'm interested in it and potentially being involved in it. We'll have to see what the process is and who exactly they'll let get involved in it. Certainly, I'm interested in it very much. Now, this is that was right there from Fightful, by the way, a little hat tip over there to Fightful. This is not really different than what he said a couple weeks ago, that he is interested. I can't see why he wouldn't be interested. Him, his dad, whoever decided to look into it. I don't know how they wouldn't be interested. That would be a huge buy for a company, like especially a startup company, that's just starting out. I think this is highly unlikely. I think we're going to get one of the bigger companies, or possibly even fucking, Saudi Arabia buying this fucking company. We don't know. But even Nick Khan has said whenever this process does go, it will go quick. He thinks that it will go quickly. So this isn't going to be some long drawn out process because just remember they do have TV rights to start negotiating at the end of the year. So there's a lot of things still involved in this. But I can't see how the Khans wouldn't want to be involved in this. Absolutely 100% absolutely would want to be involved in this. No reason not to be. These guys have money. They have, more money probably with investors they could get. And why wouldn't they want? That would be some big buzz right there. That would be huge right there. I mean, that's kind of like if Warner decides to buy up WWE. Then what happens with AEW? There's a lot of interesting things that can happen in this sale. And I don't know, man. I think it's going to be crazy. No, we heard it already happened. No, that was a lie. They did not sell to Saudi. They did not, sir. I'm sorry. Thank God they didn't. But no, they did not. And speaking of TV rights, Tony, when asked about the TV rights with Warner Discovery, they actually have to start negotiating also this year. So Tony said when asked about it, this was a Bloomberg article actually that was put out that was talking about this. They also talked about a streaming service that AEW was looking to put out. Meltzer noted that streaming service is not on the horizon right now. So, SBC says JBL should buy it. No, I don't think JBL should buy it. We'd have a lot of stories about the border. If you remember, JBL likes stories about the border. We'd have stories about that line story. I don't think it would be a good idea. Plus, I'm really not a big JBL fan. So, anyway, Tony Khan was asked about the Uprooks. It's Uprocks. I don't know why this website spelled it as Uprooks, but they did. He was asked on when he spoke to Uprocks, actually today, about his expectations on the media rights deals, and he said, and I quote, "We've done 174 episodes of Dynamite, 80 episodes of AEW Rampage. Our 17th pay-per-view event will be March 5th at Revolution. So we've done hundreds and hundreds of hours of AEW content in our library," Khan says. "I also purchased Ring of Honor last year, which is a great promotion with over 20 years of history, thousands of hours of video in their library. So overall, AEW has accessed so many great wrestling events, including some events that are widely considered to be some of the best wrestling events of all time. There's a lot of interest in this library, as well as the new weekly content we continue to produce each week. And I do think there's a lot of demand for the library, and it makes a lot of sense for us to try to make that AEW library available to fans all over the world on demand." Now, that's kind of where Bloomberg picked up and said, he's trying to start a service. Well, he already has Honor Club. So at this point, if he wanted to do it, he could. Yes, Dirk, 80 episodes of Rampage already. Yes, absolutely. And speaking of Rampage, I hope everybody caught this during AEW. Mark Briscoe, folks, will be on Rampage. We get to hear from Mark Briscoe on Rampage. I'm pretty shocked a lot of people expected him to be out the week after he made an appearance. Folks, it's 2 weeks after his brother passed away unexpectedly from a horrible, horrible car accident. Y'all expect the man to show up 2 weeks after? Come on. Give the guy a few weeks to get his mind right, mourn a little bit, and then come on back. So, looks like that's what he's going to be doing, though. Coming on back, we're going to hear from him Friday night. I don't personally watch Rampage, but for those who do, he'll be on there. I thought that was pretty cool that they're going to have him on there, though. Again, we've always, been told that it's tough to get him on the AEW shows. It looks like they're starting to get Mark back on these shows. But AEW, obviously, I didn't realize they had already done 174 episodes of Dynamite. I just didn't calculate it. It's been 3 years, though. So, yeah. Dirk says, why not have him on Dynamite instead? Let's work up to that. We've had him on Dynamite once already. I think they're testing the waters with him a little bit, Mark Briscoe. So I don't know why they think they would get any backlash from that, because Mark Briscoe said nothing, did nothing, never had to apologize because he never did anything wrong. So I don't know. I don't know why they would be testing those waters, but right now, let's just slowly get him on. And the more we see Mark Briscoe, I think the more he'll be on Dynamite and the other shows. So let's just be happy we got him at all, because, Tony Khan had to fight his ass off to get him in there. Luckily, we do. Yes, Dirk, a lot of ups and downs with AEW. But I got to say, man, I think they're back on track. I really do. I feel the shows the past few weeks have been very, very good. I mean, the lineups on all the shows have been good. I mean, even if you sit there and look at tonight's lineup, I mean, we had the main event, the Elite and Top Flight with AR Fox, the Acclaim versus the Guns, Jamie Hayter versus the Bunny, and the Gauntlet, and, Roosh and Bryan Danielson, MJF and Takeshita. The lineups are very good. Plus, they're squeezing in a few more talking segments than they used to. But what I think is actually getting, what they're starting to nail that they used to, that they kind of stopped for a while, was the pacing. It was fast paced. You went from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. Boom, talking segment. Boom, match. Talking segment, match. They got away from that. They were kind of floundering a little bit, going off and doing. The talking segments were getting too long. Now they're quick. They do more video packages, get through those because they're pre-taped. They're easier. They get through them. And I think it was a good show. And yeah, Dirk, I could agree it was the MJF Danielson show, but those were the two big matches that they were focusing on. Was the Eliminator match with MJF and Takeshita, and Roosh and Danielson. Yeah, I agree. It was fine with me too. And you know what? It made for a great show tonight. I thought it was a fucking great show tonight. And that's actually right where we're headed, where we're getting right into the show now. Let me just close down my news because we don't need it no more. Bye-bye news. All right. So let's get into this a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit of AEW. Let me get rid of this real fast, folks. Oh, no, I'll leave that up there in case you want to look at Mandy Rose one more time. I'll do you all the favor. I know, I'm a good guy. But anyway, that was the card for tonight. Like I said, we kind of ran down it already. Good stuff, man. They started off tonight as they usually do. This AEW always starts off with a fucking bang. So, boom, right off the bat, we get MJF and Takeshita out there right in the Eliminator match. It was a good match. And I mean, the crowd was already into this match. Crowd was hot for this match. We all knew MJF was going to pull out this win. I don't think anybody had any doubt about that. After the match, he pulls out the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Boom! Shoves down the referee. Hits Takeshita with it. Busts him open. Wasn't a lot of blood. This wasn't Bryan Danielson Crimson Mask blood, but it was blood. And he starts punching him in the face. Looked like he was going to try to open it up more, decided not to. Danielson comes running down for the save. Danielson calls in the trainers. Come on. They take a look at Takeshita. Takeshita does stand up on his own. So there we go with that. But I think we all knew MJF was going to take the win in that match. Takeshita worked on the knee, so even when MJF came out later, it was still taped up. Dirk says there was a lot of blading in this episode. Well, Moxley wasn't there, so this might have been like a tribute to Moxley. We miss you, brother. Let's all blade for Moxley tonight. Moxley's not here. Let's all blade for the Mox. Let's blade for the Mox, baby. For Mox. I believe he's actually going to take some time off, Moxley, which he was supposed to do before CM Punk ran his fucking mouth at All Out and got himself whatever he got himself. Let's just leave it at that. But we all know Moxley came in and sort of took that back over. And there you go. Moxley came in, did what he should do, did his fucking job, took the championship, and, he was a good Mox on the rocks. I like that, SBC. That was a good one. I think you might have just named the show, my man. Mox on the rocks. Although he doesn't drink, and we all know that. I don't want to make a joke about that. So maybe we'll work on something else for the name. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We get this Samoa Joe video. I thought it was kind of cool, this little Samoa Joe video. Samoa Joe always looking as his intimidating looking self. Basically, this was a recap of the history between Wardlow and Samoa Joe. I thought it was pretty good. I actually did. I thought it was pretty cool. So, it was fun to watch, in my opinion. But, we had Samoa Joe out there, like I said, doing that nice little, again, I like that they're doing a few more of these video packages. Like I said, I think it's sort of, they needed to do some more stuff like that because some of the promos back there were just not going well, if you know what I mean. And I know you do because you guys are very smart. So, but I like all this stuff with Samoa Joe and Wardlow. I guess they're saying he was nursing an injury, excuse me. So he was hurt. Obviously he's back with a new haircut. And there you go. We've got that working out pretty good there. So anywho, let's go ahead and move on from Joe. But I like this. I like this segment a lot, actually. Anyway, now we get the bunny. We've got the bunny out there. She comes down with Penelope Ford. Oh, Dirk, I am so happy you said that. We will get to that. Absolutely, we're going to get to that in just a couple minutes. I am so glad you just said that. I'm with you, my man. I'm fucking with you. Mox invades Fort Knox. All right, SBC, you're reaching now, man. You're reaching. I'm reaching too for my beer. All right. So, like I said, we get the bunny down there. She's with Penelope Ford. Evil looking Penelope Ford, because you have to put on dark makeup now if you're a heel. Botched bunny, Dirk says. I know. Look, this was a decent match. It wasn't awful. It wasn't wonderful. It was what it was. Luckily it didn't go too long. It went right to a quick picture-in-picture break. Right after commercial, they were like, wrap this shit up. Hayter picks up the win, which I think we all knew she was going to. And then we get Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, who again is injured, but she doesn't like to leave when she's injured, so we'll still see goodness from Britt Baker. Now, I noticed Jamie Hayter kissing that title. She better do it before Saraya gets a hold of it. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Y'all know where I'm going with that. Anyway, those of you that have questions, please ask when you see me. For those at work. She's not going to want to kiss that title when Saraya gets a hold of it. We know that. Folks. But speaking of Saraya, No, we're not discussing the K100 drama. Stop it. Stop it, SBC. After that, we get Renee Paquette, of course, my girl Renee, backstage, and they are Saraya and Tony Storm are backstage, and of course they're talking shit about the AEW originals. And dude, Dirk, I agree. This was awful. They call over Leva Bates, right? We all know who Leva Bates, Blue Pants, whoever you want to call her. She comes in this segment and they're like, "Oh, your name starts with an L. That's because you're a loser." And it's like, are we in fucking high school now? It was awful. It was absolutely awful. They throw her down. Tony Storm hits her in the back, knocks her down. They have this like DX green spray paint they're using, first of all. And they try to paint an L. This segment was so bad, they couldn't fucking paint a decent looking L. What the fuck? This was, if any part of the show was shit, this is it. This was it. This was the shit. Not the good shit. This was the shits. This was the worst part of the fucking show. So I didn't even bother with a picture. That's how much I gave a shit about this part. So Saraya did she? It was bad, I'm telling you, though. You couldn't even, the paint was awful. They tried it. It was just not good. Nothing about this what I thought was good. But after this, of course, we get goodness because MJF decided he was going to cut a promo, folks. Now, he starts out talking about Takeshita, and he's got blood still on his hands from when he was punching Takeshita. He's still sweating like bullets, like a fucking pig. He's sweating. And he starts talking about driving and getting tickets and this blue Camaro. So, of course, folks, I decided to get the picture. Here is him with that blue Camaro. Yes, you look at that picture, folks, you can tell that is young MJF with the Camaro. So there he is with the actual Camaro, and he starts telling this story about a girl who, for legal issues, for legal reasons, he'll call her Liv. Little dig there. He started talking about how they took a drive one night. He saw her. She was perfect. She was beautiful, gorgeous. And they're in the car. He's driving, and he actually did the old, for the blowjob thing. I can't believe they let him fucking do that. But he gets away with all kinds of shit, so I guess it wasn't a big deal. So he starts talking about that, and then he talks about how they got into an accident. When he was going too fast, they hit a telephone pole, and he hears the cop sirens a-whirling and a-whirling. So he's the kind of guy that pulled her into the driver's seat so the cops wouldn't know he was the one driving the car while she was unconscious. He starts talking about her, how she's, unconscious in the car. I don't know, man. I liked this. I really did. I thought this was a great promo by MJF. Good stuff, man. He's always right on point, man. This one was like, this one really like kind of went left, but he steered it back. Because I was kind of like, why are we talking about your driving fucking record? What the fuck is going on here? So anyway, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, this whole segment. MJF can always deliver. I know he always delivers kind of the same type promo, but I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't know. He's good at it. So, you kind of, what you're good at, you stick with what you're good at. And that's what he did. So now, folks, we get the wonderful Garcia gauntlet match. So basically what this was is Ricky Starks had to go through first Daddy Magic and Angelo Parker. Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, those two guys. He had to get through them. That did not last too long at all. That match didn't go too long. He took out the first two guys right away. So he's got to take on Daniel Garcia. Sammy Guevara is down there just looking like a total douchebag. I'm sorry, but he is. But anyway, match is going on. The crowd is super into Ricky Starks. You know what, Derek? I didn't really either. It was okay. It's just, this is totally a Jericho idea. You know when it's a Jericho idea because this is exactly what Jericho does and would do all the time. Take the focus off. I think they're I don't think they're purposely, but I think Jericho doesn't realize that in him trying to get the glory, he's taken the focus off Ricky Starks, which all the focus should be on Ricky Starks. I know it'll end up all the focus eventually being on Ricky Starks, but I think this could have been done a little better. So Daniel Garcia is out there to take on Ricky Starks. Again, the crowd is completely into, Ricky Starks. But of course, a masked man shows up, attacks Ricky Starks. And who is it but Chris Jericho? There you go, folks. Right there, Chris Jericho. Like I said, this is so a Jericho idea. Put me over, put me over, put me over. Last one standing, Chris Jericho. Last one standing, Chris Jericho. Always, always, always Chris Jericho. I don't know, man. I think there's, like I said, I believe there's a few better ways to do this to keep Ricky Starks being the focus of it, which we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens down the line, but I don't know. We're going to move on from that anyway. So we get the Acclaim. They're backstage with Billy Gunn. He kind of explains his actions last week on why he was the one that decided to take that match and agree to the match for the Acclaim. So he sort of did that. He also said he's going to stay in the back. Bowens kind of seemed a little bit sarcastic towards him when they were doing this. He was kind of like, yeah, you do that and whatever, scissor me daddy. So they did all that. Then we went right into Rush versus Bryan Danielson, folks. Whew. This was a fucking hell of a match right here. I mean, we said it before. Bryan Danielson was busted the fuck open. Complete crimson mask. I mean, it started off as not too bad, and then by the end of the match, just completely bloodied up. And the first commercial, I don't know who saw this, but the first commercial I see is John Cena in an Experian commercial. Are you fucking kidding me? Cena? So yeah, we got John Cena in an Experian commercial. But we get Rush coming out, and they show backstage, and it's Bryan Danielson. He's backstage talking to Renee. And he's locked in his locker room. So as we come back, we see MJF. He comes out. He has to talk to Aubrey Edwards. So he does. He's talking to Aubrey Edwards, and he says, listen, Bryan was scheduled to be in the match. He's not here. You need to start the match. Start counting. So she does. She does both. She is counting as slow as possible. We see Bryan break through the door finally to get out to the match. He does. MJF decides to go join commentary. Boom. Match starts. Now, of course, we knew. Now, remember the stipulation was Danielson wins this one, and we go to the Iron Man match at Revolution. We all knew we were going to get that match. They're building it up too much. The dog scratching at the door. Sorry, folks. They're building it up too much. It's just, it was going to happen. So we knew he was going to win, obviously. But we will get that match. Roosh, I mean, he gets Daniels, Brian out by the barricade, and he just drop kicks him. That's when the blood started. After that, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Like I said, complete Crimson Mask on Brian. And then after that, Brian pulls out the win, which I think, again, we all knew, but it didn't ruin the match. It was still a great match, even with knowing the outcome. But we are getting that match. And MJF comes down, or limps down to the ring. And he hits Brian with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which got used a few times tonight. And then he's on the ground, and he puts Brian in that armbar. Because, again, that shoulder, since the first night, the first match, was messed up. And he was concentrating on it, too. Again, Roosh was paid to try to take out Brian. Didn't do it, but MJF was trying to get that shoulder broken, the arm off, whatever. Security came out. He knocked one of them down. Two more came out. That's finally when he did that little thing there. And, I'm sorry. It's finally when he got off and got away. So after that, we get the guys from Impractical Jokers. Q and Murr are there backstage with Tony Schiavone, the man. And basically, this was all, we stole Jericho's bat. Well, he's going to be on our show tomorrow, so if he wants it back, he can come get it. Are we fucking serious? This show, I don't know. Certain parts of this show just seem like high school, middle school. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Anyway. So after that, we get, like I said, those guys were on the show. I didn't really care. I don't care about those guys. I've never seen one episode of that show. I see commercials for it all the time, but I've never seen an episode. So we get Top Flight out there with AR Fox versus the Elite. I think this is another match that we definitely knew how it was going to go. We knew the Elite, after just getting those titles back, were not going to fucking lose them. And, of course, they did not lose those titles. They kept them. Crowd, again, loved this fucking match, though. They really did. It was definitely a crowd pleaser of a match. They retained the titles, though. And right after that, we get a video for Hook. And, just putting over Hook as usual. Then we go, after the video, it's Stokely Hathaway. And he's kind of sitting there talking to the backstage girl. I forget her name. I'm sorry. And he's talking shit about Hook and how his guys, Ethan Page has a loss because of Hook. And this one has a loss because of Hook. And then Hook comes walking around the corner, gets right in his face. I mean, has him like Matrix bent over. And just says something and walks away. Something about consequences and walks away. Good shit. Good shit. And now we get the main event, folks. Actually, you know what? Before we get to the main event, I was talking about the Elite. And I forgot to mention something. The other day, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I was watching the movie Stone Cold from 1991 with Brian Bosworth and Lance Hendrickson. And in the beginning of it, they're at the beach, and Brian Bosworth gets into like this fight pit, and he's fighting this guy. And I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Well, I finally figured out where I thought I knew him from. I think, folks, I found out where Kenny Omega got his look. This was the guy he fought. Hold on. Where is it? Why isn't it coming up? Here we go, folks. Let me get it for you. This is the guy he fought Folks, this guy could be Kenny Omega's brother. This could be Kenny Omega's brother right here. He's got the perm. He's got the fucking same build. The guy looked like Kenny Omega. And I'm sitting there, and Brian Bosworth is beating the shit out of this guy. And I'm like, he just fucking looks like a Kenny Omega lookalike. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope you guys see it too. I thought I would show you. I took a picture of it, so that's the guy. Looks like Kenny fucking. The chat room's laughing, so I guess it does look a little like Kenny Omega. I thought it did too. I really did. I'm like, holy shit, this guy reminds me of someone. And then boom, it hit me. Holy shit. Perm, little beard, ripped. It's Kenny fucking Omega. Anyway, check out that movie. It's not a bad movie. If you like biker movies and action movies, Stone Cold, 1991, Brian Bosworth, Lance Hendrickson. Really a good one. William Forsythe. I'm a big fan of William Forsythe, so he's in that movie also. Awesome movie. So anyway, enough of that. I just thought I'd show you all that quick picture. So anyway, we get the Guns out there. They're against the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn, supposed to be in the back. Of course, he makes his way out there, which we knew he would. He finally, at one point, he helps out Bowens during the match. And he stops one of his sons from hitting Anthony Bowens with the title. And then right away, his other son nails him with the fucking title. Knocks him down. Now it's just kind of a brawl in the ring. And then next thing you know, well, the turn that we all expected to happen with Billy turning on the Acclaim did not happen. I think we all thought it was. I think everybody kind of it was very pungent last week that's probably what was that was the smell of what was going to fucking happen. It didn't happen though, thank God. But the titles did get switched. The Guns are now your new tag team champs, and boy, the crowd was less than happy. If you saw they were panning on the crowd, people were literally mouthing, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And they were just absolutely blown away by what they had just seen. Completely blown away by what they had just seen. So, I don't know. I thought it was a little odd myself, but that was it. Decent show tonight with a little bit of a surprise at the end there. And yeah, Dirk with one of the quotes from the movie. You picked wrong, hitchhiker, pal. That's right. That's right. Right as he got on the hood of that car. Oh, shit. Look, I've admitted before, I love cheesy action movies. I don't care. Shit can blow up for no reason. I'm fine with it. But I really thought it had a good wrestling tie-in. I thought this guy looked like fucking Kenny Omega. I mean, really. Sorry, folks. Beer. But I thought AEW was pretty good tonight, folks. I really did. I didn't think it was a bad show at all tonight. So, I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought of it, but let's see. Where are we at? 114? This ain't going to take me but about 5 minutes to go through this, folks. Saw an article today. We'll go ahead and wrap up with this. Let me take the Stone Cold lookalike, or the Kenny Omega. Sorry. The Kenny Omega lookalike off the screen. Yes, the Ass Boys, Dirksters. So let me go ahead and we'll do this real quick. So I saw an article today. I'm going to pull it up real quick if you guys don't mind. Like I said, I hope that glare is much better than it was with the dark theme on everything. Pornhub has put out their year-end review, folks. This was actually back in January. They put this out. But you know what? This is right up our alley. The most searched terms on Pornhub. And we're going to go ahead and go through them, folks. What do you think? Is this right up our alley? I think it is. So let's do this. All right. As usual, we need a picture over here. And there it is. Okay. So let's do this, folks. Most searched. Remember, this was as of last month. Here, what top 7? We're gonna go. We're gonna go with the top 7. Femdom. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is female domination. That is when the woman dominates the man. So that is the 7th. It had grown by 28% with the words pegging and strap on being clearly the favorite words. Feet is number 6, folks. That's right, feet. Yep, love her feet. Feet, feet, feet. I'm not a foot guy, folks. That had a 38% rise in views from 2021. Feet. Positions. Folks, that's right. Positions. The main one that grew 151% was lesbian scissoring. Let's give it up, guys. Lesbian scissoring. 151% worldwide. Worldwide. Amazon, though, became the second most actually became the most searched position in 2022. That is the Amazon position where the girl is basically fucking the guy, standing there fucking the guy. Followed by 69 missionary lotus spooning, helicopter, helicopter. I'm sorry. And cowgirl. I understand that one. Outdoors. Boy, I guess during the COVID quarantine, people were just dying to get outdoors and see it however they could. 121% increase from the year before, folks. Number 3, group sex. Group sex was it. Orgy was one of the most search numbers. 113% up was orgy. There you go. Followed by gangbang, of course. Gangbang up 88%, folks. Number 2 is gender. There you go. Transgender category actually rose 75%. With the 2 main searches being FTM, female to male, and MTF, male to female, that were added to that search. So there you go with gender. And the number 1, folks, my God, I wish I had a drum roll. I don't give a shit. I did say rise, Dirk. Is reality. That's right, the reality stuff, which a lot of people wanted to see. Homemade stuff was one of them that went up. Real, amateur, homemade were words that grew by 310%. Homemade swingers, homemade threes, anything with the word homemade, real, amateur, all those words ended up making the reality genre the number 1 searched Pornhub genre of 2022. There you go, folks. I know. That's the hard news. I know, folks. You like when I hit it. I know. So, all right, folks. That's it. That is all I've got for you tonight. I got nothing else. So there you go. Folks, great chat tonight. Appreciate y'all coming on in here and joining me, hanging out with me. I think that was a pretty good show. 10:40. Not bad. We did about an hour and 20 minutes. That's pretty good for tonight. Like I said, I was scraping for news besides just deaths and hospitalizations. So I think we did pretty good tonight, folks. You guys know what to do. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to watch me on video, which I completely understand, I get it, check out the audio. We're everywhere. Stitcher, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on iTunes, whatever the hell, Apple Podcast now, whatever the fuck it is. Google, we are everywhere, though. You find audio. If we're not there, let me know. I'll get there. But you can always catch I won't get this put up till tomorrow, but you guys can always go to YouTube and check it out right away, right here. You guys know where it is. Again, if you like it, hit like. If you don't, you can hit dislike. Leave a comment. Once again, chat, I really appreciate y'all coming through. As SBC likes to say, gender rules. I'll say it for you once, my man. I'll do it one time. Gender fucking rules for you. There you go, buddy. All right, folks. On that note, a good night. Have a good rest of the week. And